You're watching a 3 News special, Save Our Sauce, celebrating Northeast Ohio's restaurants. Here's Austin Love.
The last year has been nothing short of a nightmare, especially for our restaurant workers. It's an industry that employs over 15 million people all throughout the United States, and overnight it was shut down and changed forever. Tonight we're raising money for the Ohio Restaurant Relief Fund. Simply take your phone, scan the QR code, and donate what you can. While there is light at the end of the tunnel, there's a long ways to go for this hurting industry.
I'm not one to ask for help. Clevelanders are pretty proud. You know, we're gonna stick through it. So I don't think that we're used to asking for help. But in the last year, especially in the restaurant community, we have had to check our egos at the door and say, we are all in the same boat here. Let's try to paddle together.
We'll be signing an order that all bars in the state and all restaurants will close at 9 o'clock tonight.
It was almost like watching a tidal wave approaching. Wow, this thing is 10 stories tall and it's about to crash on us.
How long this order will be in effect, we don't frankly know.
Like Rocky or something. You just getting boo, boo, boo. And these body shots coming from like the biggest component in the world, the governor.
It will be in effect as long as it needs to.
You have to stay calm. What do I have to do to survive?
It was tragic because they basically said it wasn't safe to be here.
Just when you think you got it bad, I got 2 words for you. Look around.
Find a way to make it work.
The last 12 months have largely been fog of war. Is it going to be another week, month, or year?
There's no pride anymore. This is life or death.
We can't make excuses. Excuses don't pay the bills.
Over the past decade, the Cleveland restaurant scene had taken off.
Clevelanders love food and beer, and they love supporting local businesses.
It's those local businesses that had transformed forgotten neighborhoods like Tremont and Ohio City.
It was kind of like the Wild Wild West. You could buy buildings down here for pennies on the dollar, and it was just up to us to figure out what this neighborhood wanted to be.
What it turned out to be was some of the city's most desirable neighborhoods.
You had these really abandoned neighborhoods like Ohio City coming back to life largely through restaurants, bars, and in our case, brew pubs.
Momentum for Cleveland restaurants was building, and at the beginning of 2020, they were gearing up for a record year.
We were ready to have the best year that we ever had at Parallax and L'Albatros. The numbers were going up, the best that they would have ever been. But all of a sudden, the bottom fell out.
We begin with breaking news.
The coronavirus has hit Ohio. In fact, the state's first cases, 3 of them, all right here in Cuyahoga County.
A flu pandemic, like what does that even mean? And then it became very clear that it was going to shut down the world.
Governor DeWine on March 15th, 2020.
We'll be signing an order that all bars in the state and all restaurants will close at 9 o'clock tonight.
How sad.
How long this order will be in effect, we don't frankly know. It will be in effect as long as it needs to.
Man, that was a lifetime ago.
That was a dark day.
That was very daunting.
I thought, you're
Basically, they just came in and took our whole industry out.
In a high-risk, low-margin industry, even pre-pandemic with 0 restrictions, the restaurant industry is a tough one to make money in. Restaurants have a 90% failure rate within the first 6 months of opening.
If you're netting out 15% to the bottom line, you're doing extremely well. Extremely well.
With COVID restrictions in place, it became nearly impossible to break even, let alone to turn a profit.
March 15th, things changed dramatically. The formula changed. The way to make money in this business is to do volume. We were down to 60% capacity or less. We're trying to do volume, but we've eliminated seats. Once you start eliminating seats, it becomes a little more problematic.
But Cleveland restaurants powered through, despite the unknown.
Man, if you ever seen some fighters, man, come to Cleveland, man. Like our restaurant owners, they are tough. They're fighters. They're not gonna roll over for anything or anybody. So yeah, when this happened, it was like almost like a war cry.
This is it. I'm Heather Doberling, and I am the boss at Boss Chicken Beer. Well, I like to name restaurants after myself, and I'm a boss chick. So we do chicken wings, we do vegan wings, local beer. We don't do anything that's not local at all. I believe that Columbus has enough money. We are Clevelanders, and it's part of our responsibility to keep the economy in Cleveland going. So we keep Cleveland dollars here in Cleveland. This is a place that you come and you meet friends. We're not fancy, we're delicious.
It's that attitude that has helped Heather and her partner Emily set themselves apart. They started from the bottom with a food truck, Boca Loca Burrito Factory, which soon grew to a brick and mortar store. And a few years later, she opened Boss Chicken Beer.
In Northeast Ohio, nothing is given and everything is earned.
In that time, she has earned every dollar through quality food and building lasting relationships.
It's really about the people, it really is.
Both with her customers.
These are our friends.
And her staff.
Our team is so important.
So when the pandemic hit, it was people that drove her decision making.
Most of the trials that we had to go through this year were balancing the business with the people. And at the end of the day, we make decisions for people, not money. It was a puzzle that the puzzle pieces changed every day. We called our whole team in. And that's who was scared. So, it's funny, like, thinking about it. Listen, you're not going anywhere. So, this is what we're gonna do. If you cannot pay your bills, you need to tell me, I will give you the money. We thought it much more important that our team remain intact, and that they kept working, because once they're gone, they're not coming back.
But that selflessness didn't come without a price.
Emily and I did not take a paycheck for over a year. And yeah, man, whoo, it's been a tough year. We weren't close to losing this place. We were close to losing our people. So to me, that was the scariest part. And I was willing to, Emily and I both were willing to sacrifice ourselves and really, like, man, you talk about going back to living how you did in your 20s. Whew, yeah. This was not a glamorous last year. We had to really think outside the box and ask for help, but always do what's right for people and not for money.
People before money, even if that means making a personal sacrifice.
Worse than any breakup I've ever had.
Coming up.
The decision was so painful for me that I just took way too long to make it.
And later.
You guys have to hurry, you're literally attacking.
It was the worst day ever.
The boss vehicle. Oh man, I love this city. This right here is kind of where we started. So, Boca Loca, we started with a food truck, and after the first year we were real successful, so we invested right away in brick and mortar, which is where we're gonna come up on right now. I drive past this every single day. You know, every single day is a great opportunity for reflection. It's 5 minutes out of my day that I can just be thankful for where I am. So this is it. This is my old house. All the remnants of Boca Loca are all gone now. We weren't gonna be able to maintain both. And so we had to make some tough decisions. Oh man, it's like, it is worse than any breakup I've ever had. So we decided to close Boca Loca and put that money in the bank so that we could keep employing all of our people and not have to lay anybody off. We brought everybody back. Did we need everybody? No, we did not need everyone. Our business can only be as good as our people. They're counting on you to feed their families and support their livelihoods. And if you can't do that, then what are you doing? Man, letting Boca Loca go was the best thing I could have ever done for my company. 100%. It's just a new chapter. It's just a new day.
We're about to sauce the city, man. Come on in. We are taking over the world, all right? Hey, I'm Chef Vic, owner of Sauce City Restaurants and Sauce City Food Hall, Cleveland, Ohio. Sauce City is Cleveland's destination foodie restaurant, okay? We have the best Cleveland hot chicken sandwich in the world. First originated that name, so if you see it somewhere, tell them to shout out Sauce City because they know they took it from us because we really made that up, all right?
Take me through the whole story.
Well, the whole story is this started in Kent State University. So I said, all right, I'm gonna make a sauce company.
Vic worked for me as a 19-year-old server.
It used to be called Vic Fries.
He was crazy.
So he wasn't that creative with the name back then.
And he's like, yeah, I make sauce. I'm like, what do you mean you make sauce?
It was called the Diete sauce.
Yeah, sure enough, this kid was an entrepreneur and I didn't even know it.
So he went to carnivals and fairs and was selling French fries with the sauces.
He was a horrible server. Of my whole career, he's in the bottom 3.
And then we basically transitioned.
He just had so much going on that he could not focus on the 2 top in front of him.
Going into stores, we were in Amazon for a while.
But he's an entrepreneur since the day I met him. Fast forward 10 years and we're doing hot chicken competitions together.
Yeah, it's all about hustle.
It's that entrepreneurial spirit that helped Vic grow his business from the bottom up. How much money did you start with?
Oh, $700, all right?
3 years ago, before opening Sauce the City, he was working in a stable job as a director in a local nursing home.
I put it all on the line, man. I put it all on the line. I left my job, I bought the food, and then it started.
But Vic took that $700 and bet it all on himself.
It was a huge gamble, man, but it worked, man. And then we just kept going.
So when the pandemic hit, Vic used that same mentality to power through.
This past year, if you wasn't like dedicated or super had the hustle inside of you, man, you would have folded, man. All the Clevelanders know, when you give us, I don't know the saying. What is the saying? We gotta reverse this. The lemons, if life give you lemons, make lemonade. Is that it? Yeah. All right, so I had to think. I really hibernated, got to myself, got my thoughts together, tried to figure out what was going on. Because I did not want to go back to nursing home administration. Didn't want to do that. So, yeah, when life gives you lemons, man, you make lemonade, man.
So Vic took those lemons and, well, made more Cleveland hot chicken sandwiches.
People gonna eat something, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna eat Cleveland hot chicken. That's what they're gonna do. So basically after that, man, it just changed my whole mindset on how I was gonna approach the pandemic.
He transformed the way he did business, focusing on takeout.
It was tragic because they basically said it wasn't safe to be here.
And even though his business took a hit, he still found a way to help those on the front line.
We did the Feed the Nurse Challenge because even though we were struggling, we still saw that the effect that the pandemic was having on the community and the healthcare workers. So we did the Feed the Nurse Challenge, and we would feed a unit of nurses for lunch. and then we would challenge other restaurants to pick up the bill sometimes or to feed them themselves. We made it kind of like a thing to do for restaurants, to drop off, you know, meals for the doctors and nurses and the healthcare workers, and then it grew so much that the Browns, Austin Hooper, you know, he jumped in. He bought about 1,000 sandwiches for Metro Health.
For Vic, it's pretty simple. A successful business comes down to Cleveland, community, and chicken.
Cleveland is everything, man. I see how hard Clevelanders work for what they have, because that's who we are. You know, we are the community, you know.
Coming up.
I listened to them destroy 10 years of what I had built. I was scared for our lives.
They're literally attacking.
My name is Kelly Kanda, and I am the owner of Colossal Cupcakes. I love downtown Cleveland. I've watched the city grow so much over almost a decade now. I love everything about it. I live here, I work here. It's my favorite place. Our cupcakes are 2.5 times the size of your regular cupcake. We are the first to ever do the cake shake. Cake batter, waffles with ice cream, and lots of other really cool and creative snacks as well. We enjoy coming up with new things all the time. Business at Colossal was great before the pandemic.
Kelly had grown her downtown business over the last 9 years, with 2 locations and a third in the works, but COVID stopped her in her tracks.
Shutdown, panic, lots of panic. I've never been so scared.
But Kelly and her staff powered through.
I knew that I had to just find a way to make it work. I had to find a way, you know, for my business to survive.
She did survive. Eventually, she reopened, pivoting her business to focus on carryout and Uber Eats.
So I was very proud that we got through COVID. I was so happy. We got through this. It's going great. We have regular numbers, regular amount of sales.
Thousands of peaceful protesters gathered downtown demanding justice in the wake of George Floyd's death.
I'll never forget it. It was a beautiful Saturday. I knew friends at the peaceful protest, and that it was a really great thing. People were gathering. And then I got a call saying that the peaceful protest had started to turn into rioting. I ran over there. Actually, somebody had to help me just get into the store because it was already a war zone. I stayed away from the window. They watched them break in, and that's when I had my first cinder block thrown at me. They did not care that I was in there, and it turned into me having to run and all the way through the store to the back. As they flooded in, another person sort of jumped up over the counter and was standing on it, and he had a mask on and everything, and some sort of metal pipe or object in his hand, and he pretty much chased me to the back. I always say it was like a haunted house. He wasn't hitting me, but he was hitting just next to me to frighten me, and it worked. And then we just sat there on the phone with 911.
Kayla. Yeah, they're in our store and they're just trashing it. Like, you guys have to hurry. They're scared. They're trying to kill. They're literally attacking. Everyone get in the bathroom. Everyone get in the bathroom. Can you get them here quickly?
That was it.
I like hearing that.
It's upsetting. Yeah, it was a very horrible moment. I mean, it takes a lot. It takes a lot for me to be actually scared, and that was the first time in my life that I feared for it. I listened to them destroy 10 years of what I had built. I had almost $500,000 in damage in the end. I was really heartbroken. I wasn't just heartbroken for my loss. I was heartbroken that what started as something so peaceful had to take so much away from our city. We had just gotten through COVID, and we did good. We did so good. We did it. We were back up with, to matching sales prior to, and then this. I had just felt like, how?
Coming up.
I've been through enough shit in my life that I know I'll get through this.
I said, I'm gonna do everything I can to be a reason for people to still believe in downtown and still come downtown. I didn't want to just walk away. I wasn't gonna let something that went wrong take away 10 years of my hard work and pride. So that's what we're in the process of doing now, getting our flagship Euclid store back up and running, and we're doing the final touches, nonstop construction in there for opening day, which is March 23rd for us.
Here we are, coming soon. This is the new Boss Chicken Beer. It's a literal new chapter. I don't have any time to think about what was or what would have been. I only have time to think about what is and what is coming. And yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling.
Looking back at the last 12 months, I think everybody on the planet has had to do soul searching. And I think we've kind of reevaluated what's important, and we've come to appreciate things that maybe we took for granted before.
In this business, you're only as good as your last meal. You cannot let up. There is no let up.
If you've ever seen some fighters, man, come to Cleveland. Our restaurant owners, they are tough. They're fighters. They're not going to roll over for anything or anybody.
We're tough people. If I'm going to bet on anybody, I'm going to bet on myself.
I've been through enough shit in my life that I know I'll get through this.
I got more issues than National Geographic. Always thankful and always humble though, you know?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the days ahead for sure.
Got through COVID, we can get through this. This has been the greatest challenge so far in my life.
We were able to continue to connect with people when the world is telling you don't do it. We figured it out safely.
Here we are. I made it.